Okay, we're back. Listen, the year, it's the early 1600s, and we're in Spain. Specifically, a town called, I'm going to butcher this, but look, I'm trying my best. Zugaramari. Zugaramari. Wait, Zugamardi. Wait, Zugamardi. Words are hard. We are here because this would be the largest witch hunt ever done by the Catholic Church, where 7,000 people were accused of being a witch. Oh yeah, 7,000 people. Now, fun little fact, this town was mainly made up of women. Ah, surprise, surprise, right? Men did live there, but look, they were always working away. They were gone out of town working. So in this town, it was just the women, the wives, all living there. And there was also a really big problem happening. A lot of the women in town were having stillborn babies. Like a lot of women. I wish I could give you a percentage, but believe me, it's a lot. But naturally, rumors start spreading, okay? Why is everybody having stillborn babies? Many people are starting to believe that there's a curse on the town, and that's why they're having all of these stillborn babies. They believe that God had cursed them because someone amongst them was worshiping the devil, allegedly. So naturally, you know, people are talking amongst each other. Hey, I heard so-and-so's like talking to the devil. Everyone's freaking out. I don't want to have a stillborn baby. I don't want to be cursed. Women are concerned. They need to weed out these witches amongst them. Obviously, there must be witches amongst them because everybody is having a hard time. The women in town were getting very worked up, pointing fingers at one another, just trying to find the answers because they were scared. So who do we blame? Well, that's when they point the finger at 20-year-old Maria de Zimi. So Maria comes forward for some reason, and she's like, hey, everyone, it's me, Maria. And me and my friend were holding witch ceremonies, aka evil witch meetings. Sorry about that. That's my fault. Maria tells people that she and her friend were doing this for about 18 months. Very specific for some reason, but okay, girl. And then she tells them, look, the only reason I am coming forward was because I got out of it. Being a witch, that is. Maria said that she was saved by a priest through confession. She tells the townspeople, I hath struggled so hard to cast that witch life asunder. Fie, even after I was saved by thine priest, I was ill for a fortnight. Forsooth, I wrestled with the devil, and at last I was able to shake him hence. Duh. So her story of no longer being a witch was very convincing, and most of the townspeople, because there was like only 300 of them, believed her. They're like, wow, God, the priest really did save her. Bless be. Now, when Maria came forward and told everyone she was a witch, she said her friend was involved. So she throws this friend under the bus. And Maria, again, she's like, I'm not a witch, but my friend, I don't know, she might be. But the townspeople do what they do best. They get that mob mentality. They grab their pitchforks and they come for her. The friend, that is. The friend is probably looking out the window like, oh, fuck, what the hell is going on now? You know, you guys think I'm a witch? Why me? The mob is outside of her place harassing and harassing her. I mean, she cannot take the pressure and anxiety anymore. She can't go anywhere because everyone's coming after her, calling her a witch. She's like, look, I'm just trying to get some apples from my tree. Why are you calling me a witch? It just messes with her to the point where she's like, you know what? Fine. You win. I'm a witch. So she confesses that she is indeed a witch. And she just wants the harassment to stop. So the people are like, well, then where did you learn how to be a witch? And she rats out her aunt, who then rats out someone else. And it just snowballs from there. So much so that it creates a full-blown hysteria in this town. Neighbors are turning on neighbors, family members accusing other family members. Fingers be pointing left and right. It was chaos. You can't trust nobody. And nobody is to be trusted. I think a lot of us kind of sit here and observe the situation and we're like, well, if I were there, I wouldn't do that. I'd be different. And it's like, well, who knows? If you were there, you'd probably be accusing everyone as well. I'm not trying to call you out. It's just, you know, shit happens. That was a bad example, but whatever. Listen, because all this hysteria, it leads to a lot of people in town stepping forward, claiming to be a witch. So 10 come forward, specifically saying that they murdered children and suckled their blood. Not only that, they used powders and spells to kill a total of 29 people. Not only that, allegedly, these witches got together. They ruined some crops. They killed some livestock. And what did we learn from our little book? That's a fucking witch. And then this 80-year-old woman steps forward, who I love. I love this woman. She steps forward and she's like, excuse me, I'm the PR person for the witch community. In fact, I'm the queen witch. So she's claiming to be the queen witch, which I loved. Good for her. So naturally, once these confessions happened, people continued to talk, and it escalated to the point that many believed that these witches, and witches in general, were participating in cannibalism, killing babies, defiling tombs, incest, vampire shit. Not only that, they were participating in sexual relations. Oh, but not just any normal sexual relation. People were like, these witches are involved with homosexual relations. So luckily, all 10 of these witches who came forward were pardoned under certain local law. I'm not going to go into it because it's complicated, it's confusing, but it was a good thing. There was no bloodshed. It was nice. No one died. That is, until the church found out. Yeah. Nobody knows who went to the church and told them about this pardon that just happened. They're like, listen, these women were pardoned. Whoever it was, I'm going to assume it was a man, was stirring shit up. They knew what they were doing, okay? And this made the church very upset. I mean, they were pissed because in their eyes, a witch equals like the devil. How are you going to pardon the devil? Are you guys idiots? We have to go after them. That's what the church is thinking. So the year is now 1609. The church, they go out and they snatch 4 of the accused witches. I couldn't figure out why these specific 4. Like, why? My guess is that these 4 witches probably had some shit on the church, something, something. Anyway, they were snatched up and thrown into prison where they awaited trial. And this would go down in history as the famous Logrono trial. Why? Because the crazy amount of people being accused of being a witch. By the end of it, something like 7,000 people were questioned, which I guess they had the time? I don't know. Now, it's kind of funny because in this town, they had a population of 390 people. So how'd they end up with like 7,000? The witch hunters went to neighboring towns to search for more witches who could potentially travel to their town and cause more chaos like stillborn babies, bad weather, Satan orgies, all that. So they have to get ahead of the game and weed them out while they can. So my thought here is that they ran out of people to blame because in town, 158 were accused of being a witch and 124 were under suspicion and needed to give a confession. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I believe that leaves 108 people in town who were not accused of being a witch. Probably mainly men. So I'm assuming here they just ran out of people to blame, so they outsourced. That's my theory. The witches that were put in jail or prison, 13 of them died because they were treated so poorly. Now, they said the women weren't tortured. Okay, guys. Okay. So the priest would gather all the witches, march them into town square, drag them onto the stage where all the townspeople gathered and to gawk at these witches who have been ruining their lives. They're angry. And the priest would look at his notes and read off what each woman was accused of in front of the crowd. He'd be like, that one over there, she's a slut. Like that one in the middle, that brunette, she's definitely gone to hell for sure. I saw her do some shit. And then they'd read some long prayer and everybody would watch as they, the accused, were burned in front of a live studio audience. Oh my God, it was very performative and very dramatic. The crowd would cheer because they believed that these women were essentially cursing them. They thought they were doing the right thing, I think. It didn't take long for the town to put some stronger rules in place so that burning a woman alive wasn't step 1 in catching a witch. If you go to this town today, they actually have a museum dedicated to recreating the lives of the victims of the largest witch trial. And every year they celebrate the witches with a big old feast called Cave of Witches. It goes down every summer. They light fires and they make time to remember that they fucked up. And hopefully it won't happen again. Props to you, Ziggy Madura. You're killing it. I don't think it's cool. I just think it's refreshing, I guess, to see that this town acknowledges what they did, that they messed up. And yeah, I just think that's different because who does that? I don't know. So Spain closed the witch hunt book and King James was like, Can I see that book? Let me see that book. I'm gonna copy your notes. Is that okay? Welcome to the peak of the witch hunts.